episode 117. 117.
What is up? Happy NFL Sunday.
It is an NFL Sunday. And with us is our guru, Anthony. What is up, Anthony?
Hello, gentlemen. Hello, everybody. Glad to be on. Looking forward to hopefully making some of your fans money today.
That's what
All right. We like to hear that.
Yeah. What episode is this with you with us? Our third or fourth?
Probably third or fourth at least. Yeah. Probably.
We've done the fantasy draft show together the last 2 years on top of that. So, all right. Good to have Anthony here. We are live, KKFI, Kansas City. Say hello.
What's up, KC?
Our website, Vin and Mike podcast.com. And our new sponsor, Joe's Chocolate, the best chocolate west of the Mississippi.
Wow. Okay.
I can't believe they're on board.
Smart move by them.
Oh, very.
It's that holiday season. People want their chocolate.
Absolutely. Turkey and chocolate. Christmas chocolate.
Great time of year. Very festive.
All right. So it is Sunday. It's week 12 of the NFL. We're going to go right into lots of picks. We brought Anthony on because me and him do a lot of anytime touchdowns a lot. We usually text back and forth. I said to him this week, why don't you just come on? We'll talk about it this way, and we'll get people a bunch of anytime touchdowns. You can parlay a bunch of them together. So, Mike, how do you want to start it out? Do you want to pick games anytime? What should we do?
I think we could. I think we could switch it up. I think we'd go one at a time, and then we could either do a pick or a anytime touchdown.
Right,
I'm happy to start it out if you want. Actually, I'm going to give it to our guest of honor today.
Oh,
I'm going to be
you can pick.
Good mood this Sunday. I want to give it to Anthony. Go ahead.
All right. Anthony, you can pick a game or any time to start. So
all right, let's pick a game first.
Okay.
How about that?
We'll go in that order. Okay.
This is a tough week looking through. These spreads are like, they're way up there. It's not all going to come through. A lot of these are going to be close games. They always are. But with that said, I'm going to pick a team I think is ready to go on a big roll. I like their defense, and I'm going to go with the Texans laying the 8 against the Titans this week. I think the Texans are getting healthier. Their defense, I think they're getting hopefully they're getting a couple players back today. Nico Collins now, second game back. I expect them to start rolling. That's my pick for today.
Okay.
I will tell you. Wait. Let me just say something. That was one of my picks. Was the Texans. So that's why I always choose a couple extras in there just in case. All right. Go ahead, Mike.
As I said before the show, I think Anthony's going to like my pick, being that it's his team. I am taking the Chicago Bears +3, and you can shake your head all you want. Although Chicago is on a 4-game losing streak, the Vikings have not played well. This is also their third straight road game. And I know people have been knocking Caleb Williams, but he does play better at home at a 4-2 record. A lot of criticism, but I think they can match up well against the Vikings. I think it will be a close game, and I am taking the Vikings at +3.
You mean the Bears at +3?
The Bears +3. Excuse me, the Bears +3. Yes.
So, Anthony, let me ask you quickly what he just said. The new offensive coordinator with Caleb, did you see any improvement last week than prior?
What I see, what he's focuses on, what I've been screaming to you every day, is he has to get rid of the ball quicker. He cannot hold on to the ball for 5 seconds in the NFL. Not going to work. They're working on getting the ball out of his hand, read your progressions real quickly, get rid of the ball. If not, roll out, make a move, not being a target. He cannot sit back there. So they're doing the right thing. Get the ball out on time and moving them around a little bit more. So, yes, I did see an improvement. I think Mike might have something here. I think, maybe Minnesota will falter in this game. But, who knows?
Yeah. I just want to say another thing.
I liked your analysis of the 3 road games in a row.
That's huge.
That plays big.
And Sam Darnold, he's been going down. I mean, not downhill, but he hasn't been good as he started in September. He's had multiple turnovers. And what Anthony alluded to, that with the new offensive coordinator, Chicago had its highest point total since week 6. So listen, I think it will be a close game, and I hope I'm right. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to make our local audience a little happy today because I was out and about today. It's windy. It's cold. It's not a kind of game where you're going to throw the ball all over the place. And our man, Tommy DeVito, is back. Our Paisan. That's right. Our Paisan is back. I'm going to take the Giants plus 6.5 today at home. I know Tampa has been, a sharp team. They played pretty good on the road against Detroit early in the season. They've been good. But I just think the weather, a little change in quarterback, team gets a little juiced up because of a change there. Not that they didn't like Daniel Jones. It's just, it's just a little change, right? And I like the way DeVito plays. I think Tracy will be a big factor in the run game. I think the Giants defense will be a little more hyped up. And I like the 6.5 more than anything. I could see this being a very 2017 kind of game. Not saying the Giants are going to win, but the 6.5 is what I like.
I like that pick, Vinny, because I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, which is going to favor that point spread in those low kind of scoring games with the win and everything. Smart pick. And go Tommy. He's back.
That's what I like. All right. Anthony, you got any other pick for a game, or you just
I got a suggestion with our 3 teams. If we did a teaser with that, what would that be for 6-point teaser? So let's say we did Texans -2, Bears +9, and the Giants plus 12.5.
I'll take that. I like that teaser.
How about that? Texans -2.
Yeah.
Bears
+9. And Giants
and
plus
Giants.
12.5.
There you go.
All right, that's a teaser. Mike, you got any other game that you like?
I do, and I'm going to also – it's the game, and I'll also put it with the touchdown, anytime touchdown scorer.
Okay.
I know this week is about large point spreads, but if I'm going to pick one team in this large point spread after their defeat last week, it is the Kansas City Chiefs, -10.5 against the struggling Carolina Panthers. Although Carolina has won its last 2 games, they won against the Giants. And let's face it, Bryce Young has not been that great. If Kansas City's going to get back on the radar, this is the game to do it. I think that you're going to see a lot of pressure from their defense, a lot of takeaways, and Mahomes is going to get in that rhythm. If this team is for real, they're well coached by Andy Reid. I think they blow them out. I think they win by 14 points or more. This is the game to do it. I know the point spread could be a little, nerve-wracking, but
especially on the road.
I just felt with my gut, I'm going with Kansas City. With that said, I'm going to take Kareem Hunt as a anytime touchdown scorer because he has been a force in the red zone this season, especially inside the 10-yard line. I think he's ranked 3rd or 4th in the NFL, and I think he's gonna score a touchdown. Yeah, I think he's gonna get in there. So we'll see.
So I was happy when I looked at the Kansas City Carolina matchup in that I saw DeAndre Hopkins +180 anytime touchdown scorer, and I like that very much against that Carolina defense. Okay. So I'm going Hopkins +180 is part of my anytime touchdown.
All right, I'm going to put that down too.
Yep, I'm writing it down.
And what do you got? Anything relatable?
Well, I'm surprised you don't have this guy.
Well, I might. I only name one.
You might. I have 2. But I'm going to give you one I really like coming back after his hammy pull. Tampa Bay today. I like Mike Evans in the red zone anytime +130. I think is a gift.
Yeah,
I think that's a gift.
+130 is a good one. I saw that one.
Yeah, I like that. So
I just couldn't take it because of my +6.5 Giants wind. So I couldn't go against myself.
I got you. But at +12.5, we can.
Now we can.
Now we can.
You can score it after any timer.
No, Anthony, I like that. I want to ask you both.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Kansas City pick? Do you think it's too many points? Because I don't think you guys were shaking your head. I didn't know which way you were thinking.
I worry about big spreads on the road. That's my only thing. Not that I can't listen. Kansas City, we know they're the 2-time defending Super Bowl champs. They got the best player in the game, all that stuff. The Bryce Young, Carolina rebuilding, the whole thing. But you got to go to Carolina. I didn't look at the weather, but I know the East Coast has been cold and windy, but not a big deal for Mahomes either way. But I just worry about 10 on the road. Not saying that, it could be one of those games where it's 37-28, right? Or 37-21, and then they get that backdoor touchdown by Bryce Young like late in the game. That's my only concern is the road and the double-digit spread. Anthony?
If I may say something about that game.
Please.
You got that kid Brooks coming back, first game back, right? The running back for Carolina, the standout from Tennessee. And there's no restriction on him, so him and Hubbard will definitely be running the ball. And you also have Adam Thielen coming back, I believe, today. I think he's coming back today, Adam Thielen. I got a feeling.
Yeah, I think you're right. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Hey, listen, like I said, Mike, if we were great at this is all we would do. All right, I got another anytime touchdown that I really like, and I like it because of an injury as well. Devontae Smith is out in Philadelphia, right? So got to be another guy that Jalen Hurts looks to besides A.J. Brown, and to me, he likes Dallas Goedert a lot. I think this guy a plus 190. That's a
nice one.
Nice one there. I think Eagles, are on a real big roll. Hurts is on a real big roll. I like Goddard plus 190 in that game.
Okay.
Any more games, or was that it for the games?
I got another game.
I'd love to hear it. Let's do it.
I got the Packers minus 5.5 because no Brock Purdy, no Nick Bosa, potentially no Trent Williams.
Yeah,
in Green Bay. In Green Bay, all that stuff that leads to me to a 7-point Packers win. That's what I look at.
And that line was
Brandon Allen. I mean, the guy's thrown like 5 touchdowns in his career.
I don't even know.
He's like 32 years old. I remember when he played for Joe Burrow that year in Cincinnati when Burrow was a rookie. Remember when Burrow got the torn knee when he got sacked when he was a rookie? Got the ACL? Brandon Allen was the guy that stepped in.
Okay. I did not know that.
But listen, he's, I think I've thrown more touchdowns than he has in the NFL.
I think that's a solid pick because that line.
That's what I like. Yeah, I'm surprised it's only 5.5. I was like, why 5.5? I'm guessing maybe McCaffrey and Debo and still a good San Francisco team, but I think without that quarterback and being able to do things and on the road, to me, it seemed like a low spread. I'm taking the Packers.
Smart. I like that pick.
I like that pick too. So far for our games, we have Texans minus 8, Giants plus 6.5, Bears plus 3, Packers minus 5.5, and Kansas City minus 10.5. So
that could be a very big parlay for somebody if they like us, or they could just go against us and pick the other way and be really happy.
Either way, Anthony, I have a question for you. Vinny and I have discussed kind of where Super Bowl and where we're seeing things right now. And when we look at Week 12 and where these teams are and the trajectory, what are your thoughts and potential Super Bowl matchups right now?
Well, I'm not going to go with everybody. Everybody's talking about the same team. I'm going to try to go a little different here.
Okay.
Everybody's talking about Detroit. They're like they won. You know what? Detroit's rolling now, but are they going to be rolling at the end of the year? Are they peaking now? Anything can change. One injury can change anything. So I'm going to look for a team that's maybe below them a little bit. And I think maybe that team is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they could be dangerous. I think they can run the ball. They can throw the ball. Their defense is pretty good. I think it's just as good as Detroit's. I think they can give somebody a potential troublesome matchup. I think Jalen Hurts is playing very well, being smart with the ball. I think they could be the team that can represent the NFC.
Okay.
I could give you a good stat because, as you know, I have the biggest Eagles fan ever in my family. Since week 4, the Eagles are number 1 in defense in the NFL.
There you go.
Wow. So they've been figuring it out on that side of the ball. I really like the way Jalen Hurts has been playing. But I made the prediction, as you know, Mike, the winner of the Thursday and Friday games early in the season were my Super Bowl picks. And the Chiefs won Thursday night and the Eagles won Friday. So that's why I still stick with the Chiefs-Eagles. You know, I've made that probably on every podcast we've done since then. So
you have.
I'm still, you know, I'm not going to change, you know, from that pick.
Okay. And where do you see the AFC, Anthony?
I'm not going to go Kansas City. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills.
Me too. I like the Ravens, but lately, I don't know. I'm leaving.
I like the Ravens, but I just don't trust them. I don't trust Lamar. They showed me a lot last week how they played against them. Edge rushers surrounding the outside, push up the middle, forcing him to make throws, and he could not connect. He is not accurate. I don't care. I know he's an 2-time MVP, could be a 3-time MVP, but I think Josh Allen's playing the best football he's ever played without the hindrance of throwing the ball to Diggs all the time. He's spreading the ball out. He's got 2 good tight ends, good running back, good receivers. They are pretty good. They're good enough. And I think their defense is getting healthier. And I think they could be a menace in the playoffs, especially if they somehow fall into the 1 seed, which now they would have an advantage by beating Kansas City. If Kansas City slips it anyway and then go in, I think going to Buffalo this time will be a big task for anybody.
Okay. I want to switch gears, talk about our local teams, 2 teams that have just been struggling. My Jets, New York Giants this week. Giants released Daniel Jones. And the Jets, we all know Aaron Rodgers has not been the answer. What are your thoughts on those organizations right now, where they go from here?
You want me to say something there? Or, I mean, the Giants – just hope they can get a quarterback. I mean, it didn't work out with Daniel Jones. I mean, everybody's saying that, you know, they did give him every opportunity. To me, I think he's just not the guy. So I think, you know, I think the whole thing with the Giants really fell apart with the hard knocks with the whole Saquon thing. Yeah. And losing Saquon, it just kind of snowballed after that. He started playing well. They didn't. And now, you know, they exposed Daniel Jones even more. I know he had the 1 playoff run and he won a playoff game, and I get that. But after that, he hasn't really shown anything. So I think the Giants have really got to look in the mirror and really, you know, I think they definitely got to go quarterback. I mean, I'm not saying anything out of, you know.
How about Cam Ward? I know you're a U guy, you know, Cam Ward, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. I think Cam's good. I think he's legit. I think he's the real deal. I think he would play well in a Giant uniform. Yeah. And then, if I could say something about the Jets, you know, I root for the Jets. You know, I root for the Jets. That's my second team. I'm a Bears fan, but I root for the Jets also. That's my AFC team. And I'm disappointed. I mean, I really, you know, I didn't like Aaron Rodgers for how many years? He tortured me with the whole belt and I own you. But I was happy for the Jets because I said, wow, you know, this is an opportunity to get a legitimate quarterback they haven't had. And it just failed miserably. The defense is not playing that like the way they should be playing. I thought they'd be a top 3 defense in the league. They're not playing that way. Aaron Rodgers doesn't look like his same self. You know, usually he can roll out, make those throws. He can't. He's immobilized, and it's sad. But you know, I don't know what else I could say, but more about that.
I'll just say, you know, Vinny and I have been talking about it on the recent podcast, and you know, I'm as you know, diehard Jets fan, and It's just crumbled from the start. I mean, what I find is that we had we had all the names, and to your point, Anthony, felt we're going to be like a top 3, top 5 defense this year. The funny thing is that after the 2 and 3 start, when they fired Salah, that defense has slowly gone downhill every game. The effort has not been there. They just seem like there's all these pieces and no one's connecting. I just don't see any kind of leadership. And it's probably medieval text, and it'll be like, "This is. Do you think this is the biggest bust in Jets history, NFL history?" I mean, it's up there because there was so much hype, as there should have been after after that terrible injury last year, coming back, and what Douglas did in the offseason. Now he's gone, right? Then what's going to happen? There's just the Jets are just a team of just drama. Because it's always like, who's going to coach? Is Aaron Rodgers going to stay next year? Is he going to go? And I just want there to be some kind of talk about the Jets. Wow, this offense looks great. This defense looks great. They're a playoff contender. But all we hear is just crap. So we got to get to the next.
I'll be honest. I don't understand the Joe Douglas firing at all. I don't understand why you would fire him after the trade deadline. Like, you made him make all the decisions up until then. Now we're at the point where he's essentially just, seeing who's in place for next season and starting to plan for next season. I mean, is the reason you fired him because you don't want him to start making those plans, or, are the conversations, out there in Florham Park much different than we know? To me, the entire firing of him made like absolutely no sense to me. I get it if you fired him maybe before the trade deadline to have somebody else make those decisions, or someone else, as they say, in the house that's making those decisions. But I don't understand after, the only thing I could think of, and is that he was tasked with doing certain things and he never came through with what he was tasked with, and he told Woody Johnson, we're going to still run, this way and that way, and they still lost games, and Woody Johnson just got fed up. But besides, I just don't know any other reason why you'd fire him post trade deadline.
Yeah, it's not going to help anything.
Now, was there a report, Mike? Was there a report that he wanted to bench Rodgers after one of the games? Yes.
I read that.
Yes, there was.
Maybe that had something to do with it. It was after the Denver game. Woody wanted Rodgers benched.
I was at that game. Probably the worst game I've ever been to.
Oh my God,
it's so bad.
But it rained that day, right? Wasn't it like a?
It was pouring out. They scored 9 points. The Jets. I think they lost 10-9. Pouring. It was just.
Yeah, but that was, what week was that?
Early on in the season. It was like week 4, maybe 5.
Again, that's so much earlier than week 11, right? I mean, why are we firing the GM now? I don't know. I mean, those are probably questions for Woody Johnson to answer if he ever gives his owner press conference after the season, which a lot of owners do. It's not like Jerry Jones's world, who gives a press concert, every week. But, I would think Woody's going to have to explain the whole situation sooner or later. And then they have to rebuild the entire front office starting next year on top of the quarterback position. I mean, you're talking a 2-year rebuild again. And that's even if you get the right guy to run the quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, who are you going to bring in? Daniel Jones? I mean, really? I mean, seriously, like, I guess you need a stopgap for at least a year, because I'm not sure where they're going to fall in the draft. I don't know if somebody's on their radar that might fall a little down, like a Quinn Ewers or Beck from Georgia, maybe somebody like that, that can maybe slide down to where they are. But all the teams above them right now are going to draft quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And a lot of these teams are starting to play, hey, I'm slowing things down, right? The Giants are playing, we're going for Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, right? That's excuse me, how they're setting themselves up. The Raiders are in the same position. Tennessee's probably in the same position. You could just keep going. Those are 3 teams, that we're talking about that right now are going to draft before them. So they got to make some other decisions potentially outside of what they're doing. And Rodgers still has a year left, yet no guaranteed money, right? They can release them, but doesn't mean they're going to. So, there are a lot of decisions there.
I had getting to another topic. I had a question for you both actually with the games today. None of you, including myself, picked this Lions-Colts game. Lions have been dominating their opponents. There are 7.5-point favorites. Mm-hmm. Is there a reason why you both kind of stayed away from this one? Is this a trap game, you believe?
Yeah, Anthony.
I tell you what, I think the game's going to be closer than people think. I think, this lit a fire under Richardson, played much better last week. Yeah. I think he can be he's a problem for any defense in the league because his ability to run, move around, his accuracy, obviously, we know it needs to be improved. But that's a dangerous team. You never know with the Colts, and they're playing at home. So, you know what? Maybe this is the week that Detroit comes back to earth. But maybe next time we're on, they blew them out by 30. We'll see what happens.
I always find the Colts to play well at home. I remember, I think it was last year, they beat Kansas City at home. They always find a way to play a little bit better, at home. And to Anthony's point with Richardson, I like the way that he played last week. I know it was against a Jets team that's struggling, but still, it was, on the road, outdoor, the whole thing, and really showed a lot better than he was prior to his benching. He's a kid that has to still grow up, and I think they were giving him the rest of the year off to grow up. Then they realized Joe Flacco is, not the guy to do it anymore. And we need, we have a potential of making a wild card, and our best bet was to bring him back in. And I think he showed that kind of quarterback that he can be in the NFL. He's as big as Jalen Hurts. And probably as fast as like Lamar Jackson, right? I mean, he's just a physical specimen.
Yes.
And he just got to learn to play the pocket in the NFL, which, if I'm correct, he didn't play a tremendous amount of college football. If I remember correctly, he didn't have a lot of starts there. He got hurt last year, didn't have a lot of NFL starts. So he's still, quote unquote, learning to play the position, right? But he really showed a lot better. Like, he was the guy that I thought he was going to be coming into the year, because I thought early before he got hurt last year that he was going to win Rookie of the Year. But then, he got hurt and all that stuff. But I think he really rebounded last week. Now, Detroit could be this juggernaut team, like Anthony said, or Mike is feeling, and go on and win 44-20, right? Because Gibbs and Montgomery and St. Brown are so good. So
absolutely,
they have the best. They have one of the best running games in the NFL, if not the best. I know the Colts struggle there, but Gus Bradley always figures out something, right? So they might key in and why did Goff throw 5 interceptions against Minnesota, right? So maybe figure out we're going to run that same kind of defense against Detroit this week.
Can I say something about how the Lions are built? And I've been screaming about this. I was not happy that the Bears, you went quarterback and then receiver. It's evident in the NFL to be successful, you got to build in the trenches and build out from there. Because without a good offensive line or a good defensive line, you're not a good NFL team. I don't care what anybody says. You can have all these weapons, and that's great. But look at the Lions. They're built on both sides of the ball very well. They have number 1 picks on the offensive line and defensive line. Hutch got hurt, I get it. But when he's in there, he was a number 1 pick. Build the trenches, build out. That's how you win in the NFL. And the Bears made a bad mistake this year with that. They had a choice. They had a chance to get the kid that went on to San Diego, that left tackle.
Yeah,
we could have used them. That would have been huge. So I think that's a lesson to be learned. And I think the Jets can fall into that category also. Offensive line needs improvement.
Yep.
Yep. I love, if I could just bounce around a little bit, I just made a note. I love that tight end from the Raiders. He is absolutely a menace on the field. He's somebody they got to build around. Work on that O-line, work on the defensive line, build around him, get yourself a quarterback, and they'll be much better. But he is an absolute stud in the NFL.
Yeah, he might break Puka Nakua's rookie record for receptions and yards as a tight end.
I hope he does.
Yeah.
I love that kid. Love that kid.
Yeah, he was a pick that you had to take, when he fell to the Raiders at that point. He was just too good for them not to draft him.
Right. You got him at 13, right?
No, was it a little earlier than that? No, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I thought the Jets were going to take him. I really thought the Jets were going to take him to solidify that extra guy around Rodgers. Yeah. So I was kind of surprised it just didn't take him. But to your point, I look at the Chiefs, right? Chris Jones, their interior offensive line. They drafted the other kid, Korfalakis, whatever his name is, from Purdue. The other guy, George. I'll just call him George. But you see the top teams in the league, right? Like you said, Detroit, Philadelphia has always had a big offensive line and big defensive line, right? You see that,
right?
Right. Kansas City, who we just mentioned, Buffalo, they really have a very solid offensive line, much better than we took credit for. So. One thing, and this is one thing I want to talk to both of you about Josh Allen, since you mentioned him, and I know Mike watches him a lot. So I look at today's football, and I'll do some comparison. Not saying they're exactly the same guy. I'm just talking about it. Mahomes is like Tom Brady right now, right? He's winning every year. He's won 3 Super Bowls. Does Josh Allen have to become that Peyton Manning, right? Go to those 4 Super Bowls, beat Pat Mahomes in that AFC Championship game. Remember, Manning got the 3 Super Bowls beating Tom Brady, right? That's how he got there. Do you see Josh Allen needing to do that in order to take that next step, or do you just win a Super Bowl, doesn't matter who you beat?
Can I answer first? I think his biggest criticism is not getting past those teams. So I think to get on that next level, yes, I think he has to get past Kansas City, because what people were saying about the last game, yes, the Bills won. They played a great game, but what haven't they been able to do? Win in the playoffs, right? So I think obviously you're going to have to get through some of those teams, gain that credibility, and be able to put yourself on that pedestal that you did beat these elite quarterbacks in competition. So I think that does take the next step. On the other side, the Bills are a team that, they have not won a Super Bowl yet. They are dying to win a Super Bowl. So it's a little different story, but I still feel, as far as legacy, that if he were to do this, I think we'll put him on a different pedestal.
I agree with Mike 100%. Everything he said, I would have said the same exact thing. I think I love Josh Allen. I think he is, if not the best quarterback in the league. But it goes through Mahomes in Kansas City. He has to beat them.
Yep.
There's no other way around it. They're not going anywhere. He's going to have to beat them. And that's it.
I thought last year was Allen's chance. I thought it was Lamar's chance. The first time Kansas City had to play on the road, and they freaking beat both those teams. Mahomes just showed a whole different level. And then, they go much better San Francisco team. We all said it, right? We all said it last year going to that Super Bowl. We all said that San Francisco is a better team than Kansas City, but the difference is Pat Mahomes, and it turned out to be the difference. I mean, it's really what it turned out to be. I mean, this year seems like a down year for him, but as we always say, we can't count the guy out ever. Oh. So, all right, Anthony, Give me some more anytime touchdowns. Give me 2. I know you got at least 5 on it. Give me 2 more so we can solidify this up. Let's go.
All right. I do have a couple. Let's see. I'm going to give you 2 for today and 1 for Monday night.
Okay.
How's that?
That's good.
That's
Let's finish it out that way. Let's go.
Okay. I'm going to go with my man here, Nico Collins, plus 120. He's going to get in the end zone today. Nico Collins.
I like that.
And I like this.
Houston versus Tennessee, right?
Yep. Exactly. I like him to score a touchdown today. You can bank on that.
Okay.
The other one I like is somebody who's really coming on and is becoming Mr. Tua's go-to guy. Joano Smith, the tight end from Miami, plus 200.
Wow. Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns last week, right?
Yes, he did. He is a nice go. He's perfect for Tua. He goes outside, dumps into Smith, and he's a big target in the red zone. And for Monday night, I have one for you, which I absolutely love, especially if Ladd McConkey was very questionable with a shoulder injury to play. And anyway, I like him anyway. Give me Mr. QJ, Quentin Johnson, plus 185.
Quentin Johnson. Yeah, McConkey's been dealing with that shoulder for a couple of weeks now. Even when he's played, he gets hit and then he's taken out of the game here and now. Yep. So even if he does play, who knows how long he'll play.
Yep. I like Quentin Johnson. Big red zone target. Got one last week. He'll get another one on Monday night.
All right. So let me ask you guys one other question. How impressed are you with Jim Harbaugh?
I'll have Anthony go first this time.
That guy's just a winner. That's all there is to it. He's so well respected. Just like, look at the way he talks about his quarterback. Enough said.
Loves them.
Look what he does. He puts him on a pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he treats him like, this is his team. We can't do this without him. He gets it. He knows how to massage those players, get the best out of them. His system, it works. It worked in college. It worked in pros. He's just an NFL coach. And what a matchup that's going to be Monday night.
Yeah. I remember when he was at Stanford and Andrew Luck was his quarterback, he made Andrew Luck like he was Tom Brady already. The guy didn't even throw like a pass in the NFL. And when he got drafted number 1 overall, I'm like, this guy's going to win 5 Super Bowls just because the way Harbaugh made you feel about him. Yeah. And he would say last year, J.J. McCarthy is the best quarterback in this draft, right? Blah, blah, again, I don't know if he was playing games because of who he wanted to draft and where the Chargers were sitting and all that. But at the same time, it made you think, like, is J.J. McCarthy the best quarterback in this draft?
Right.
But Herbert, man, I mean, Herbert buys into it too, because I've seen Herbert play a lot, and he gets in these games where he just looks like he's not an NFL high-quality guy. But every game I've seen him play this year, even with the bad ankle, when, it took him some time, they were running the ball a lot more, and now that the ankle's better, I mean, Herbert ran for 50 yards last week. He's telling them, just go. Like, this is your team. You don't see it, run, take off. Don't worry about it. Protect yourself, but just go. It's been last week. It was the best Justin Herbert I saw.
Yeah,
Every throw he made was a bullet right on time, right there. He was unbelievable in that game.
He was. He was.
Cincinnati has a great defense, but still, he made every throw. I was like, wow. I was very impressed.
Yeah. I was just going to say I agree with Anthony. I mean, Harbaugh is a winner, and to both your point, that was a great game that Herbert played. He ran for actually 60. Yes, it was 65 yards, averaged 13 yards. I mean, that's amazing, and that's just, again, coach and player believing in each other. That's what that's all about. That's what it's all about. Good
leadership, Mike. Leadership.
No. Our Jets are missing. That's exactly what that is with that team. That's the difference.
I like that. Leadership. Perfect phrase. Remember Jim Harbaugh as a player almost to the Colts to the Super Bowl that year against a very good Pittsburgh team, right? They almost went to the Super Bowl, and they were nowhere as close as good as Pittsburgh.
Exactly. And they're going to get better. They're going to get better. What did they draft San Diego? Offensive line and then they went defense, correct?
Yep. They let all the receivers go, right? Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, everybody's gone, right? We still got Josh Palmer, we got Quentin Johnson, we drafted Ladd McConkey, right? Brought him in a little later.
Smart.
We brought Dobbins in, who's nobody wanted. Gus Edwards, who nobody wanted, right? They're both in there. They can run the ball, all that stuff. And this is only the first year. It's only the first year.
And that tight end, Dissy, not bad either.
Oh, yeah. Another guy that broken down, was injured every single year, right? In Seattle, nobody wanted him. Now all of a sudden, whoop, he's a big believer in talent. And if a guy, passes their medicals, he'll bring them in.
Yeah.
He's not afraid of bringing guys that had injuries. And just remember, he had Colin Kaepernick in the Super Bowl as well.
Forgot about that.
You're right.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Beyonce, he probably would have won that Super Bowl. Blew out the freaking stadium. Imagine being the Super Bowl, right? The biggest event of the year, and you have a blackout.
No,
imagine the guy in the NFL that's in charge of infrastructure and facilities and all that stuff, or the guy at the Superdome that's supposed to be, how do you explain that to your boss or Roger Goodell the next day or whoever? Like you're done. Like it's like you're over with.
Yep. Hey, did you guys talk about the Mike Tyson fight on your prior thing or no?
We kind of previewed it. We didn't really have a post game.
Tell us your feelings on it.
Well, first I want to say, Netflix, really, with the buffering. I'm texting Vinny. I go, Vinny,
it was terrible.
I mean, my God, this is Netflix. I mean, they're going to be hosting football games on. Am I right? Christmas.
Christmas.
Are we going to have this issue?
We need that. Listen, I need my my Netflix on Christmas Day. There's only so many gifts I can open.
We need this to work, Netflix. My God,
Mike only can eat as much Chinese food as there is. He needs his games.
That's true.
I just wanted to say that and get that. I mean, the fight. I mean, after the first round, he couldn't. His legs looked like he was bow-legged. He was done. His legs were just not. He couldn't move. It was abuse. He could have killed him if he wanted to.
Yeah,
that was just awful. I got to say one thing though. That women's fight was one of the best fights I ever seen, and it's a shame.
Yeah,
it's a shame that girl lost that fight. She won that fight.
Oh yeah, Serrano.
She won that fight. Yeah. Wow. She is just an absolute beast. Love her, man. What a performance by her.
What they threw, I forget the amount of punches they threw in one round. I think they said they threw more punches in one round than Paul and Tyson threw in the whole fight.
Everyone was talking about that fight opposed to the Tyson fight.
Yeah, because it was unbelievable.
Unbelievable fight.
Unbelievable. They just went at it. And I tell you, I like those 2-minute rounds for those kind of fights, right?
Yeah, go all at it for 2 minutes, get a break. It made a big difference. They won a fan with me. I'm a fan of the women boxing now. That they won me over with that fight.
I hope they have a third fight. They could headline a third fight on pay-per-view.
Absolutely. I pay
People
for it
will buy that
to see that fight.
People will buy it.
Yep.
So, did you see my man John Jones the next day with the kick to the ribs of Stipe?
Man, he's that's
all I know is I heard his ribs crack. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what Stipe says. Those ribs crack on that kick.
Brutal. Man,
cool.
Tough sport. Yeah.
Those guys, I mean, listen, combat sports is a whole different level. Everybody talks about football and the hits. I mean, the abuse that these guys take punching each other in boxing for 3 minutes for actually, let's just use a championship fight, 36 minutes, right? That's all it is, 36 minutes. You know, a championship UFC fight, the most you get is 25 minutes. These guys come out and they're hurt for months.
Yeah.
Months.
No joke.
You know?
But how are they going to be? You know, this is relatively. How old now is this UFC, this hand-to-hand combat? It's not that old, right? How long has it really been?
35 years now, but it hasn't been as organized as it will. Probably the last, let's say, 20 years, where they have like the weight classes and the more organization. Yeah, I mean, I look at Chuck Liddell, right? Like everybody knows Chuck Liddell. You know, he's been around a lot. He sits in the crowd there, and he looks normal. You know, and he's been in some like big like brawls and got knocked out. You know, I mean, he doesn't seem like there's any major after effects, but we'll have to see, right? Like we know what boxing does to guys, right? We have to see.
Yeah, that's what I want to see down the line. I want to see what the ramifications of all these punches in the face and the head are how these guys are gonna end up later in life. And
like the Randy Couture's of the world and Chuck Liddell's, they're the older citizens now, right? Like guys that were in a lot of like Tito Ortiz and Rampage Jackson, right? Like those are the guys that you have to pay attention to as we start going down. You know, and now some of these other guys like George St. Pierre and Anderson Silva, you could go. You know, are they still going to be, where they are, down the line? But right now, I haven't seen, anybody that's mentioned anything yet, right? So we know what happened in the NFL, right? Why the helmets are so different now, and how bad the concussions were. You know, the whole Mike Webster story, and that whole thing, how it played out in that neurologist, that did that whole study on the NFL that really changed the game. So, it's look at the kickoffs now, right? The kickoffs are that way just so it's safer.
Yeah.
I don't like the kickoffs, but I get it, to the point where, listen, safety has to matter somewhere. Yeah. I think it's a little crazy sometimes with the quarterbacks, some of the penalties that are thrown. But again, like I always tell Mike, I said, if you took all 52 guys on his team and put them with another 52 guys at the same size and stature, and you put them in a bar with no pads, no helmets, how many of those 104 guys, of the 52 on the Jets, are you going to point out that that are on the Jets? The first guy you're going to point out, without a doubt, is Aaron Rodgers, right? No ifs, no ands, no buts, and that's why the NFL protects the quarterback. They are the face of the league because you might come across, I don't know, Mike. Give me the Williams brothers. Could you tell the difference between each Williams brother? No. All right. You say, oh, that guy's a huge man, but there's another huge man next to him. I don't know which guy is Quentin Williams, but you'll know who Aaron Rodgers is in a minute, right? Right. You probably know Devontae Adams is in a minute, right? So that's where the league is built that way.
I agree.
All right, so listen, we got Hopkins plus 180, Evans plus 130, Goddard plus 190, Nico Williams plus 120, Johnny Smith plus 200. 5-guy anytime touchdown. That's going to be a big plus. Mike, I'll put it together. I'll give it to you so you can post it.
Yeah, please
get the boost.
And the boost. And if you want to put in the Monday night, you could go Quentin Johnson plus 185.
Yeah, Vinny, send that to me. I'll put it on. I'll put it on.
5, and then maybe you could do the 6.
Just maybe get your money back if you happen to lose.
Yeah. We're not here for losers.
No, I'm just saying.
We're here to win.
We don't condone betting. Please use your head and bet responsibly.
Yes, do not cash out your 401k like Mike did when he put his pick on the Jets to go to the Super Bowl.
It was not my 401k. It was a $60 bet in Vegas. Like dumbest bet of my life. So,
hey.
Yeah.
But like as Anthony always says, right, and Mike always says this, and we say it on a lot of podcasts, you bet a little to win a lot.
That's right.
Right?
You
don't have
know
to
that's
go
true.
crazy, you know, you don't have to go crazy. You know, we don't have to fly to Atlantic City and play blackjack at 3:00 in the morning on a private airplane, right? What's going on here?
So what's our 5 parlay again? What's our 5? Let me get this. I want to make sure I have the right 5. Go ahead.
Okay, so
Which one for the anytimes?
Yes, please.
Oh, the anytime. Sorry, Fitty has that.
Ready? Hopkins,
Yep.
Evans,
Yep.
Goddard,
Yep.
Nico, Jonnu Smith.
Got it. Thank you.
That's our 5.
I'm putting that in.
And then Quentin Johnson, if you want to do 6, or if you want to do a 5, maybe like a $10 5 and a $10 6, or you just save Johnson altogether for Monday and straight plus 185, maybe.
I'd get him in now only because if Ladd doesn't play, you're not going to get plus 185. I could tell you that.
Yeah, very true.
All right, and then I'll just do our teams one more time. So we have, we got for the audience, we have the Texans -8. We have the Giants plus 6.5. We have the Bears plus 3. We have the Packers -5.5, and Kansas City -10.5 to round it out.
Yep, got it.
And that's that.
That was just straight picks. We're not saying to parlay those. You can if you want, or you could pick and choose some of those. But the anytimes are the one. The anytimes is the big parlay today. That's the one for everybody. You know, I want everyone celebrating with Tommy DeVito today. Hey, Tommy! By the way, close to where Mike lives, Tommy DeVito is around the corner from him. Not the same town, but they're very, very close.
Oh,
They go have pizza together, I heard.
We are. We're going out for pizza after the game today.
Oh, very nice. Have a great time.
The DeVito family, and Mike.
Yeah. They took me in. They felt bad for me. They felt bad for me as a Jets fan, so they're taking me in.
Come over.
They said they're going to go celebrate Hanukkah with him this year.
That's right. That's right. We're bringing everyone together this year.
8 crazy nights.
Awesome.
All right, very good. Anthony, thanks for making some time on this Sunday morning. We appreciate it.
We appreciate it a lot.
So again, everyone, check it out. Joe's Chocolate, the best chocolate west of the Mississippi.
Can't wait to have that.
Vinny, we got to make a trip out there now that they're a new sponsor, you know?
Yeah, we're going to go to Joe's. We'll let you know the address and everything once we figure it out ourselves.
All right.
All right,
See you
guys,
next time, everybody. Goodbye.